Good morning. We'll give just a moment to clear the waiting room.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As a reminder, when you are entering from the waiting room, please do remain on mute unless or until you are testifying before the board. Good morning. This is a hearing before the licensing board for the city of Boston. Today is Tuesday, October 29th, 2024. Today's hearing is being held pursuant to temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. Today's hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the city of Boston's website. Before I review procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman of the Board, Kathleen Joyce.
Good morning. My name is Kathleen Joyce. I'm Chair of the Boston Licensing Board, and today I'm joined by Commissioner Liam Curran and Commissioner Kiana Saxon.
Thank you. Please ensure that your audio and visuals are working properly if you plan on testifying this morning. I will call each item in the order that it appears on this morning's agenda. I will then ask who is present on behalf of the licensee, who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department, and whether there are any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify. I will then swear in all parties. After that, the police report will be read into the record, and the licensee or their representative will have the opportunity to make a brief statement, followed by questions by the chair and commissioners. All testimony will be limited only to those individuals with firsthand personal knowledge of the alleged incident. We'll begin with the first item on this morning's agenda, calling item number 1, 253 Food and Spirit LLC, doing business as Nashville Grill and Stage, located at 255 to 257 Tremont Street. Date of the incident, May 27th, 2024. Over serving alcohol in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and an over intoxicated patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Jessica Irola.
Thank you, Ms. Irola. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Sorry, Detective Juba, if he's not present, Lieutenant Detective Troy.
Great. Thank you, Lieutenant Detective Troy. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify? Can you both please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
No.
Thank you. Lieutenant Troy, if you could please read the police report into the record for the board.
Well, written from an original report written by Officer Hollenbach. It reads as follows: about 12:30 a.m. on Monday, May 27, 2024, Officer Hollenbach received a radio call for an assault and battery at the Brigham and Women's Hospital, 75 Francis Street, Roxbury. On arrival, the officer spoke with a friend of a victim, Rochelle St. Jean, who stated that she received a FaceTime call from the victim, Miss Aka, from her phone about 8 p.m. on May 27, 24. On the other end of the FaceTime was either a bouncer or a bartender for the Nash's Bar at 253 Tremont Street, telling Miss St. Jean that the victim Aka was passed out at the bar and needed to be picked up. Miss St. Jean arrived at Nash's Bar and drove the victim to the emergency room at Brigham Women's Hospital. The victim was unresponsive the entire way. When the officer arrived at the hospital, the victim was still unresponsive, intubated by hospital staff and being transferred to the intensive care unit. While speaking to Miss St. Jean, she told the officer that the victim went to Nash's Bar earlier in the night with 2 unknown females, one possibly named Sophia. Miss St. Jean told the officer that it wasn't out of the ordinary for the victim to go to the bar. However, she doesn't usually drink. She doesn't usually drink 2 glasses of wine, and that's what Miss St. Jean told the officer victim would have had at the maximum. For the victim to be this out of it from drinking was extremely rare. Hospital staff stated the victim's symptoms were similar to those in contaminated drinks. Sergeant King and Detective Juba were notified. I believe there's an additional report here.
Mm-hmm.
Additional report written by Detective Juba reads as follows: as a result of an ongoing investigation stemming from the victim being transported to Brigham and Women's Hospital for treatment, following her becoming incapacitated while being a patron of Nash's Bar at 253 Tremont Street. Detective Juba reports the following. Initial reports were that the victim was drugged while inside the bar. Detective Juba responded to Nash's Bar, met with the manager, Jessica Montoga, who provided him with video footage from the evening of May 26, 24. Detective Juba reviewed the footage and located the victim and her friends, but did not observe any person tampering with any drinks. Detective Juba did observe the victim drinking shots with her friends along with other alcoholic beverages, where she subsequently became incapacitated in the bar. Based on the videos, Detective Juba responded to Nash's Bar and issued a licensed premise violation for over-serving alcohol and an over-intoxicated patron. The manager, Jessica Motoga, signed for the violation and assisted throughout the investigation. That's the extent of the police reports.
Thank you, Lieutenant Troy. Ms. Irola, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, so we did have an event that evening where the victim did come around 6 p.m. She was upstairs and she did, like the report said, had a couple alcoholic beverages on the second floor. When she then came downstairs, she was fine when she was on the second floor, but when she did come downstairs, my security manager at the door did recognize that she was visibly intoxicated. At that point, she did have her phone and we did call somebody to see if they could give her a ride home. That was the last of it that we had heard of it that night, but Detective Juba did show up a week later and filled me in on the incident, what happened, and then we then worked with him to see if it was, if she was drugged at the bar, and then he reviewed the video footage.
Anything further you would like to add before we move to questions from the board?
No, I did speak with the bartenders that evening, about that evening when Detective Juba did come by and tell us that she had gone to the hospital that evening. We did show the footage to my bartenders and they remembered her and said she was fine while she was on the second floor. It was then when she came downstairs that, my security did see that she was visibly intoxicated and then we tried to make sure she got home. That'll be all.
Are there any questions from the board, beginning with Chairwoman Joyce?
I may have missed this, but was it determined how many drinks she was served while at the bar? From the video or otherwise?
So from me watching the video, when we did pass over to Detective Juba, it did seem that she took a round of shots with her friends, the two other females that she was with. And then I believe it was only 2 other drinks that she had throughout the time that she was there. And that was, I believe, from about 5:45 till 7:30 was when she exited the bar.
So 1 round of shots and 2 other drinks?
Yes, ma'am.
And she was served them all from the same bartender?
I'm not sure if it was the same bartender. It was the same floor. We typically have 3 bartenders that are on the second floor.
Okay. Are your staff trained to look for signs of intoxication when people enter the bar?
Yes.
Okay, and did you talk to your staff after this? Did this woman show signs of intoxication when she entered the bar?
When she entered the bar, we have a security manager that checks ID. So when she entered the bar, she was 100% seemed fine. On the second floor, like I said, I did ask them if she seemed intoxicated on the second floor when they were serving her the remainder of the drinks for the event. And they said that she was visibly okay.
Okay. Is there any chance you have that video that you could share?
I can see if we still have it stored. We did give the thumb drive to the detective. Typically we try to save it on a separate drive because our footage does erase after 21-day period.
There is a thumb drive that was delivered to our office that has over 70 video clips that must be played through an attached player. So if there's a way to identify clips that can be shared with the board, that would be helpful here. As right now, it is a great amount to kind of try to parse through and in a manner that can't really be shared with the board.
Okay. Yeah, my last question is, did you write any sort of internal report after this event?
wrote the incident on just like a regular paper that I can provide.
Something like this in the future, an internal report from the bar is often helpful. Especially if there's video to accompany, a narrative to accompany the video only helps you out. For us to go through all that video, we might miss something. And what we're looking at is whether or not she was overserved by your staff, or there were signs, if there were signs of intoxication missed by your staff. I don't have any other questions, Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon?
My first question would be regarding the video. This Attorney Green said that we have a lot of video. Do you recall whether the video showed her for a period before her last drink, and also for the time that she was observed downstairs showing signs of intoxication?
Yes, the video is all aspects that we have of her in the building.
Okay. Does the video show her passed out as the police reports?
It does show her on the first floor, but before she left the bar, yes.
Is she passed out?
She was visibly intoxicated. I wouldn't say passed out.
Okay. I just want to give you a chance to speak to that, because if I want to look at the video, and my thought process here is the decision to call a friend versus call 911.
Okay.
And I can see there being a line here, but for me, if I'm watching video and she's passed out, I'm questioning why you didn't call 911. So do you have anything to say about that kind of inquiry?
I mean, she was laying on the table, down here, laying on the table, waiting for her friend to come to the bar. So I wouldn't say she was unconscious. I mean, passed out, but she was sick, waiting for them to show.
Okay. Well, I just want to let you know, I feel like I'm going to be scrutinizing that aspect of the decision. I know it can be a fine line.
Yeah.
Kind of play too much of a Monday morning quarterback, but I'm very concerned when you have someone who isn't calling for their own friend, that they're so incapacitated that your employee has to make the call, and instead of calling, medical help, they just call a friend.
Correct.
Okay, well, all right, I'll wait for the video. I think that's all I have at this time.
Nothing to add. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm happy to share all 70 video clips with the commissioners, but if there's a way to pinpoint the moments that Commissioner Curran is asking about, that would be very helpful in the board's review.
Right.
Thank you very much. With that, the board will take this under advisement. Calling item number 2, Las Palmas Market Inc., doing business as El Parma Restaurant located at 290 Bennington Street in East Boston. Date of the incident is June 23rd, 2024. Patron on patron assault in violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Yes, good morning. Good morning to everyone. My name is Wilfredo, owner of the business, here with my manager, Jaime. And we're here to see,
Thank you. And did you say Jaime is the manager's name?
Yes, he's the manager of the restaurant. He was present of the day of the incident.
Thank you. Could you please state your last name for the record?
Wilfredo Palma.
And Jaime's last name?
Jaime Ochoa.
Rivera.
Mhm.
Great. Thank you very much. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
He was present of the, oh, sorry.
Officer Hanson, I responded on scene.
Thank you, Officer Hampton. Is it possible to turn your camera on so that we can swear you in?
Yeah, I'm having a little difficulty.
There we go.
Got it?
Got it. Thank you. And are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Sir.
Yes.
Thank you, Officer Hampton. If you could please read the police report into the record for the board.
Sure. So we responded on scene. A dispatcher gave us a call from Revere stating that someone was calling for his mother who needed help. Upon arrival, officers knocked at the door of El Palmar. The manager, Jaime Rivera, opened and invited us in. All patrons of the establishment stated that no one called and they were unsure why the officers were there. We requested a call back, and the victim's phone rang inside the bar. That was the number the dispatch had. So we requested that she stepped outside and spoke to us. Once we were outside, a patron, Edcelio de Souza, immediately approached us and demanded that Gomez came with him, the victim. Officers repeatedly asked and told the suspect to step back from the victim and from officers for safety. The suspect then stepped too close to Officer Sanchez, my partner, and was detained for officer safety and to avoid using any more force. Officer continued to speak to Gomez, who stated that the suspect placed his hand around her throat. Gomez stated she was unable to breathe until witness Daniel Rivas struggled and removed him. Officers returned back into El Palmar and spoke to another victim, Elisa Pena, who stated that she had been dating the suspect for 2.5 years. Pena stated she was assaulted numerous times in the past, but today she was just shoved. At this point, our sergeant issued a code 35. Citation number is 026663 for an assault involving patron on patron, and until he was arrested and charged with strangulation and A&B 209A. That's the end of the report.
Thank you very much. Are Mr. Palma and Mr. Ochoa, would you like to address the alleged incident?
No, that's exactly what happens inside. They was eating, having fun, and they start arguing. Here, my manager asked the guy to leave to break him out because the argument was a little heavy, and then he left. He went outside, and that's how the officer says. After when we noticed, they noticed because I was not there. The police was there, and that's it. We didn't know who called the police because everyone was like, we didn't. But now we know that the lady called. I mean, that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Ochoa. Anything to add before we move to questions from the board?
¿Usted tiene algo que decir? Yo le dije lo que pasó.
No, the same, the one he said right now, that's happening.
Let's see if there are any questions, starting with Chairwoman Joyce.
My question is for, I think it's for Mr. Rivera, who in the police report
Mhm.
says he was there that night. Why was the door locked at 7:30 at night?
Dice que-
It's porque estaba cerrada la
Ajá,
puerta.
ujú.
When I get to the restaurant, they was eating already.
No, porque la puerta estaba cerrada.
And when that happens, and the guy left outside, so I locked the door because to make sure, you know, that he tried to don't get in again and make something happen, you know, bad.
So the door was locked because,
After, yeah, when they asked him to leave, they closed the door for inside, just to make
Okay.
sure that he doesn't come in because the lady is still inside the business. So he left, but they locked the door to make sure he doesn't come in again because
okay,
there was like an personal argument.
I got you. Thank you. Commissioner Curran and Commissioner Saxon, do you have any questions?
Why didn't you call the police?
I asked them the same thing and they feel it was not like necessarily
Nothing
because it
very
was not, they was just arguing, there was nothing like heavy. So, and the guy left, but the lady got scared because, but they know each other for like, they say they've been together for some time. So we didn't feel like call the police because it was nothing like, there was not like physical contact yet. And then she called because, I mean, they know each other better. We don't know them like for real.
How long were they arguing inside?
¿Cuánto
Okay.
tiempo duraron? Como 2-3 minutos, ¿no?
Yeah, like couple of minutes. They was the discussion by yourself. I don't know what the reasons. I don't hear nothing. but that's all I see. So
And he left on his own accord, or did you ask him to leave again? If you can just.
Le preguntó él que se fuera o se
yeah. Well, he was with another friend, and
preguntó que
yeah,
se
and
fuera.
his friend told him to leave, and I say, hey, I opened the door for him, and I say I don't want any problems here inside the restaurant, and that's why I opened the door. And when he leave, I locked the door for a few minutes, so until the thing ended.
I guess by way of comment, if it was serious enough to lock the door to disallow this person to not allow this person to come back in, I think it would also be serious enough to actually call law enforcement.
We'll keep that in mind la próxima vez.
Okay.
I second that, just so you know. I agree with that logic.
Any further questions from the board on this matter? Okay, with that, the board will take this under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 3, Identity Foods LLC, doing business as Pollo Centro, located at 225A Bowden Street in Dorchester. Date of the incident, June 20th, 2024. Assault and battery, employee on patron in violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Miguel Santana, owner of the restaurant.
Thank you, Mr. Santana. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Detective Felix should be present, if not Lieutenant Detective Troy.
Thank you. I do not see Detective Felix. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify?
No.
Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Lieutenant Troy, if you can please proceed for the board.
Reading from a report written by Officer Green on June 20th, 2024, it reads as follows. At about 11 p.m. on Thursday, June 20th, 2024, Officer Green, while assigned to the front desk at District 11, took a walk-in assault and battery report for an event that occurred at 225 Bowden Street, Pollo Lounge and Grill in Dorchester. Officer spoke to Mario DePina, who was accompanied by Lillian Diaz, who was Spanish speaking only. DePina translated for Diaz and stated that Diaz was assaulted by 2 females inside Pollo Lounge and Grill on the same evening. DePina said that he and Diaz went into the restaurant and were sitting at a table when an employee we know as Ellie began to accuse them of talking about her sister. DePina says that Ellie began pacing in and out of the restaurant when she suddenly came over to their table and began to physically assault Diaz. DePina said that Ellie was pulling Diaz's hair and punching her. DePina said that Ellie's sister entered the restaurant and also began assaulting Diaz. DePina stated that himself and other patrons in the restaurant intervened and were able to separate the suspects from Diaz. DePina stated that both suspects were threatening Diaz in Spanish, stating, "I'll see you back in the streets." DePina said that he and Diaz left the restaurant and they watched Ellie and his sister leaving a black 2003 Honda Pilot. DePina described both suspects as dark Hispanic females in their 30s. An additional report, An additional report written by Detective Felix reads as follows. At about 5 o'clock on Thursday, August 15, Detective Felix visited Pollo Chicken and Grill at 225 Bowden Street in Dorchester. Detective Felix spoke to the business owner, Mr. Jal Lopez. Mr. Lopez was informed of the incident that occurred in his business on June 20th, 24. Mr. Lopez indicated that he was not aware of the incident. Detective Felix gave Lopez an opportunity to read the police report and then issued a license premise citation for A and B, employee on a patron. It reads the case is ongoing at this time. There's an additional report here from Detective Felix that reads as follows. On Tuesday, August 20th, the victim, Lillian Diaz, Spanish speaking only, and the witness, Mario DePina, came to District 11 to conduct a scheduled photo lineup. Detective Felix met the victim, Diaz, in the lobby and walked her upstairs to the detective's interview room. Due to the victim's lack of English, Sergeant Detective Lozano conducted the blind administrative photo lineup. The photo lineup is in black and white, containing 7 filters and fillers and 1 suspect. Sergeant Detective Lozano read the witness preparation photo array form in Spanish and then had the victim sign and date before the photos were shown. The photos are in random order and each picture is shown sequentially, only one at a time. Should the victim recognize anyone, they are asked to write in their own words and language how certain they are of the identification. During the audio and video recording of the interview with Sergeant Detective Lozano, the victim, Miss Lillian Diaz, picked out a photograph number 4 of 8 that identified Bethina Rodriguez. Diaz then wrote in Spanish that she was 100% certain that this person was the person that assaulted her. Detective Felix then interviewed the witness, Mario DePino, in an interview room. DePino said he was advised that the room was being audio and video recorded. DePino stated that he was sitting at a table with the victim and another friend, just talking at the Pollo Lounge and Grill at 225 Bowden Street. They took notice of victim suspect 2, the sister of the suspect, who was behaving drunk. They were both laughing about something unrelated to suspect number 2 when suspect number 1 stood up, jumped on the table and began physically assaulting Ms. Diaz. And the charges against Bethany Rodriguez were sought for assault and battery. That's the extent of the police reports.
Thank you very much. Mr. Santana, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, good morning to everyone. Mr. Mario DePina, it's who provides my rug service, which is a regular. The Ms. Diaz is the person who sometimes come in to collect the bill. Mr. Mario DePina comes in used to come in 2-3 times a week and flirt with the waitress, Ellie. And an occasion, this particular lady, Diaz, had altercation or arguments with several different employees. So I asked Mr. DePina not to have Ms. Diaz come in to pick up the bill. I was unaware that night that she was there. I was sitting in my office. According to cross-examination with the rest of the employees, what happened was that Ellie's sister, which is the lady on the Honda Pilot, came in to pick up an Uber. She stated that the food smelled good, and Mr. DePina offered to buy her the food. So Ms. Diaz was jealous without knowing that Ellie was sister with the person that he offers to buy food. They started arguing, boyfriend and girlfriend, Ms. Diaz and DePina started arguing over that. And she called a name, basically turns out to be that woman that take advantage of men. Ellie heard that and confronted Ms. Diaz, and they started arguing. At that point in time, it was loud, it was all over the restaurant. So I came from my office and I say, hey, take it outside. What happened outside, at that point in time, Ms. Diaz walked away and Mr. DePina came in to pay for the bill. So by the time that Mr. DePina went outside, they were arguing, and the lady was supposed to come back to pick up the food. When she came back, the waitress was arguing with Ms. Diaz, and I didn't know there was fighting or whatever it says on the report. So nothing happened at that point in time. So I brought the waitress inside. We had a conversation, and I told her that I can't have that, and she was fired on that particular night. So a month later, I was outside the country, and I got a phone call from one of the detectives that if I had knowledge of what happened a month ago. I told her, no, I don't know what happened that's when I was presented with a report and I was presented with a violation. If I knew then, I mean, my video footage goes 21 days. So, I mean, at that point in time, it was 33 days later when they came in to file the report. So I wasn't aware of the situation, nor Mr. Loeb was. That's pretty much everything I have to add. If I knew the incident happened, I would have called the police if it was any altercation.
Thank you. We will see if there are any questions from the board at this time. Chairwoman Joyce, any questions?
So just to confirm, you fired Ellie that night?
Yes, ma'am.
She doesn't work for you now?
No.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon?
I'm sorry, I'm not really clear. Why was Ellie fired that night?
Because she was who started the argument with the lady, with Ms. Diaz. Ms. Diaz started talking about her sister without knowing that the waitress was sister with a person that he offered to buy food. So she's the one that went to the table and confronted the patron, which in turns worked for me too, because it's an independent contractor. But
Okay.
Ellie, the waitress, was the one that started the argument.
So you fired her over a non-physical confrontation, just
Yeah.
because?
Well, it was very loud. It was very loud, and the cashiers. I mean, my restaurant at the table where she was sitting. I have two cashiers. It's a counter with two cashiers where people pick up the food there. So I asked the cashiers what happened, and they said Ellie started the argument, and it was very loud. There was all the customers in the restaurant. It was very loud.
Okay.
And I when I came in to separate the confrontation, that I said take it outside, she wouldn't stop arguing over me.
Yeah. So that was my next question. Who did you tell to take it outside?
The customer and Ellie say take it outside.
So your employee was having a heated argument with a patron, and you sent your employee outside with them?
No. I said take it outside to the customer. I say, hey, listen, I can't have this at the restaurant. Go outside. I take Ellie and I said, I separated them, and I brought in Mr. Pina came in inside because she told me he hasn't paid for the bill. So Mr. Pina came inside to pay for the bill. Ellie was inside the restaurant at the time when it was happening.
I need a moment. When did you become aware that this was alleged to have been a physical altercation?
A month later, sir. When they placed it
The police report says August 15th. Is that right?
August 15. The report I have here says June 20.
June 20 is the day that it happened, right?
Right. And when I became aware of it, it was a month later, I believe, or maybe longer.
August 15th,
Correct.
which is more like 15 days, 16 days later?
If it's June 20, then June 20 to July 20 is a month. And then August 15 would be another 15 days.
Yes, thank you.
I apologize, but I'm not sure. That's what I think it says here.
Yeah, but you said you only have for 21 days, correct? You had no reason to check your video?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I'm still trying to figure out how Ellie got outside. So if you said, I thought I heard the first testimony was that you talked to both of them, saying for them to go outside or take it outside. But
No,
then
no, no.
that
I-
Ellie
I-
was inside. When
Yes.
did she get outside, and did you know that she had gotten outside?
No, the argument started inside.
Mhm.
So I told them, hey, take it outside. When I told them to take it outside, they went out. Ellie was inside. Who came back to pick up the food was Ellie's sister. According to, because I wasn't aware that this happened at any altercation outside my business. I mean, Bowden Street is a very live street at night. And there's many people around. There's a supermarket, there's a liquor store, there's a barber shop. So at no point in time I was aware that something was happening outside. And to be honest with you, I don't believe anything happened outside. Miss Diaz claimed that she was assaulted by Ellie's sister, but I didn't see Ellie's sister come back. So at that point in time, my problem was that I'm not going to have that type of situation at my establishment, and it's unacceptable. I mean, just the argument that happened, I asked the cashier what happened. The cashiers explained it to me that who started the confrontation was my employee, and all the customers that were there, they say, yeah, she was the one actually being loud, but Miss Diaz was responding very loudly to it. And that's when I proceed to say, hey, excuse me, guys, take that outside. You guys gotta go. You guys gotta go, take it outside. So Ellie was inside. She told me, I say that they pay for the bill, and Ellie replies, no, they didn't pay for the bill, but she continued to argue. So I told one of them and said, call him and tell him that he got to pay for the bill. So Mr. DePina come back inside, pay for the bill, and left. And at that point in time, I thought that everybody was gone. So I took Ellie aside and I said, once I find out the facts, I told her, I said, listen, this is unacceptable. She'd been there for like a month and a half. So it wasn't like an employee that's been working for me for years. So at that point in time, I said, listen, this is unacceptable. This is something that can happen. It's not allowed. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to let you go. And I let her go that night.
All right.
Anything further from the board on this matter? That the board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Calling item number 4, Castillo Beer, Wine and Liquors LLC, located at 2371 Washington Street in Roxbury, date of the incident July 4th, 2024. License is not posted conspicuously, in violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 64. Failure to call 911 in violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Board's Rule 1.14b. And assault and battery patron on patron inside in violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13a. Who is present on behalf of the licensee? Is anybody present on behalf of Castillo Beer, Wine, and Liquors? We will attempt to contact them and take a second call. Calling item number 5, GSI Shawmut LLC, doing business as Kava, located at 315 Shawmut Ave in Roxbury, dated the incident July 25th, 2024. Person under 21 in possession of alcohol on premise in violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 34A, 34C, and 6464A. Who's present on behalf of the licensee?
Alan Levin on behalf of GSI Shawmut LLC, doing business as Kava.
George Axiotis.
Thank you very much. Who's present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Jack Fernandez and Sergeant Gallagher.
Great. Thank you very much. I don't see Detective Hernandez, so thank you, Sergeant Gallagher, for being with us. Are there any other individuals with first-hand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Can you please raise your right hands? Do Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Sergeant Detective Gallagher, if you could please proceed with the police report for the board.
Yes, on Thursday, July 25th, 2024, Sergeant Detective William Gallagher, Detective Eddie Hernandez, assigned to licensed premise unit, conducted a licensed premise of Kava. As detectives walked into the establishment, detectives observed 4 patrons drinking alcoholic beverages. Detectives noticed these patrons looked young. Detectives asked them to produce identification to confirm their ages. Initially, all the patrons stated they were over 21. Upon further questioning, it was determined that one of the 4 patrons was under. Upon further investigation, the underage patron was positively identified as Amelia Fay, date of birth 6/2/2005, with a valid Rhode Island driver's license. Miss Mia Fay, 2/13/2002. Sister Amelia didn't have in her possession a valid Rhode Island driver's license and a U.S. passport card. Miss Amelia Fay will be summoned into court for person under 21 possession of alcohol. Miss Mia Fay will be summoned for assisting person under 21 purchase of alcohol. Detectives brought this situation to the attention of the person in charge, Miss Monica Gozebag. It should be noted that the server admitted that he did not sure if he asked the patrons to provide identification. As a result, the detectives observed Sergeant Gallagher should license premise inspection 021987, person done 21 possession of alcohol on premise. Ms. Corviga signed for and accepted this notice. Those are the facts.
Thank you very much. Attorney Levin, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, just briefly. First, Kava's been in business for 8 years. I don't think they've ever had issues like this before. I know they had one issue back during COVID where they were over capacity. I think they were cited for that. All of their servers, waitresses, bartenders are all trained to ask for licenses or identification. In this instance, when there was an investigation done, they talked to the server about it. She wasn't sure if she had asked. There was some confusion maybe about whether another server had gone originally over there and had taken IDs. While Mr. Axiotis, who's the general manager, he wasn't there that night. Monica Georgieva, who was the manager in charge, she also questioned the server about it. And again, the server was unsure. I will say that immediately after this, the server was suspended. She was eventually terminated. Again, we're asking the board, considering that they don't have violations like this in the past, and the only other violation that they had was an overcapacity during COVID, to take that into consideration.
Thank you. With that, we'll see if there are any questions from the board at this time. Chairwoman Joyce.
This particular server, how long had she been working there?
Mr. Axiotis, if you can respond to that.
About 2 years.
Okay. Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Carn, do you have any questions?
I do not, thank you.
None for me, thank you.
Thank you very much. With that, the board will take this matter under advisement as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And it does appear that we have been joined by Mr. Castillo on behalf of Castillo Beer, Wine and Liquors on item number 4. So calling back into the record, Castillo Beer, Wine and Liquors LLC at 2371 Washington Street in Roxbury, dated the incident July 4th, 2024. License is not posted conspicuously in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64. Did not call 911 in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Board's Rule 1.14B. And assault and battery, patron on patron, inside in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who's present on behalf of the licensee?
This is Carlos Castillo. My apologies for missing this. I thought this was dismissed. So my apologies. I just got a phone call to chime in. I met with the police captain 3 weeks ago and handed him the package, and he said that it would be resolved and that I didn't have to worry about the hearing. So I thought I was going to get something in the mail, which is why I thought this was off. So I apologize.
Thank you. That may have been for a criminal proceeding, but this is a licensing administrative hearing, which has not been dismissed. Mr. Castillo, is it possible to turn your camera on so we can swear you in?
Yeah, sorry. one second.
Thank you very much. And who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Good morning, Sergeant Detective DeVito.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify?
So, hello. So because of the situation where I spoke with the captain, can we request a deferment so that we can prepare for this hearing? Because we were phone called this morning that it was still on, but we are not prepared. We thought that this was not something that was ongoing. So is it appropriate for me to request a deferment or continuation so that I can get my attorney involved and follow up with the police captain so we can do this properly?
Yep,
Sure.
that is at the discretion of the board. Chairwoman Joyce.
I'm fine with that. Thank you.
Great, then this will be continued to the to a later hearing date. We will be in touch to reschedule. Mr. Castillo, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, board. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant DeVito, as well. We will be in touch as well to reschedule.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Those are all the items before the board this morning that will adjourn this hearing. Thank you all and enjoy the rest of your day.